Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video, I'd like to speak with you about a WTO signal that potentially spells trouble in trucking ahead. But first, roll the intro. Welcome back. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to please like the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single release of our videos, where every Friday we're talking about something that could benefit you in your trucking businesses, in your trucking careers, as well as cover the loads we've successfully booked for our customers, consisting of leased out owner operators and carriers operating under their own MC authorities, running under our truck dispatch services. As always, guys, big thank you for all the likes you provided in all the previous videos. Please do keep them coming, and let's talk about this WTO signal and what it means for trucking going into the third quarter and potentially into the fourth quarter. Now, those of you guys who watch our channel consistently, you may have seen last week's video, for which I'll leave a little card here in the corner. But in last week's video, we actually talked about some of the signals to look for to get an idea where we are basically heading with trucking into the third quarter and potentially fourth quarter ahead. Now, the WTO Goods Trade Barometer is one of those signals, and recently it rose to 103.5 from 102.8. And normally that'd be considered really good news, and the media is definitely spinning that as the best thing since sliced bread, but that's recent momentum and not future growth. And the media is always trying to basically blow things out of proportion and then sensationalize things. Now, the new export orders and that information, that actually fell to 97.9, and that is signaling a slowdown ahead in global trade. That's actually what you need to be looking at if you want to know where the trucking industry is actually heading. Now, the media headlines, they focus on past data and they ignore future contracting signals, which is what is actually happening here. Contraction. Now, ultimately, if you look at May and actually April, the data actually saw export orders weaken, and third quarter trade is actually, most likely to follow. Now, what follows that is third quarter trucking volumes. That could also soften. And that's what the majority of viewers on our channel are actually, looking forward to get an idea. Are things going to improve or are things going to get worse? Well, it does look like things are not getting any better. They're actually looking to get worse. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's what it looks like. Now, moving forward, the spot market may tighten even further, and most of you guys are in spot market. So if you watch the media, their headlines, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, things are getting better. Now, they might get better because there's a lot in the mix. There's a lot of geopolitics involved. There's all kinds of stuff going on. There's tariffs. There's all sorts of different data. There's all sorts of different uncertainty in the world that is driving the markets. And from what we've seen in the industry as of late, some things, come up and then 24 hours later, they're down and then they're up again. And so it's really difficult. So what we try to do is rely on the data that we are used to relying on to basically get an idea of what's coming up in the future. So third quarter right now isn't looking good, and the spot market is looking like it's going to tighten even further. So what I would say is that you should monitor freight demand into August and September to get an idea where things are actually heading. And like I said earlier, global uncertainty, tariffs, and policy decisions are the key risk factors in the freight industry today, especially in the spot market. So guys, once again, watch predictive data, not headlines. We've talked plenty about the LMI, the Logistics Managers Index. You should also watch the PMI, which is the Purchaser Managers Index. Again, the LMI is a lagging indicator, a laggard, and the PMI is actually looking into the future. It is a leading indicator. So if you combine that data, especially with what's going on in the freight market currently, that'll give you a really good idea of what you can look forward to into the future, the best you can. For now, guys, I'll switch over the camera. We'll look over loads that we booked for our customers. And if you haven't done so, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys in just a moment. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of these loads. Guys, this week we have a ton of reefers and some vans. Everyone did amazingly well. especially some guys pulling in over $1,000 a day. Others even better than that. Guys, we'll go ahead and get started with Milagres pulling a reefer coming out of Kingsburg, California, going to Pulaski, Tennessee, with a 39,000 pound load of seasoning set at 65 degrees on a reefer, 2,103 loaded miles, booked out at 44.35, got him 211 a loaded mile. Excellent job. Then Nashville, Tennessee, coming out to Valdosta, Georgia, with a 40,000 pound load of packaged goods. Temperature set at 60 to 65 degrees on 476 loaded miles. Booked at $1,200, got him 252 a loaded mile. An excellent job. Then Omega, Georgia to Van Buren Township, Michigan, with a 43.5 load of watermelons at 55 degrees on a reefer. 902 loaded miles, booked at $2,500, got him 277 a loaded mile. All in all, he ran for 6 days, Friday to Thursday, ended up grossing an amazing $8,135. You heard it right, over $8,000 in today's market, guys. He ran 3,481 loaded miles, got that at $234 a loaded mile. And he did have 119 deadhead miles, so that dropped him down to 226, which is still very, very impressive. A fantastic 6 days on the road. Did a great, great job. So way to go for both dispatches, of course, to Milagres as well. Moving on to Michael and his dry van coming out of Yazoo City, Mississippi, coming out to Charlotte, North Carolina. Did a great job pulling some FAK, 44,000 pound load of miscellaneous product, 661 loaded miles at $18. $1,800, got him 272 a loaded mile. The next load ended up as a Tonu, $250. It was supposed to be out of Greer, South Carolina to Windsor, North Carolina, but truck order not used. Not all hope is lost. $250 was banked on that one. Took a load out of Duncan, South Carolina to Lake Penasquefe, Florida. 44,000 pound load of solar equipment. It was 555 loaded miles. Got that booked at $2,100, guys. That's $378 a loaded mile in today's market in a regular dry van. Absolutely fantastic. Then Warner Robins, Georgia, coming out to Charlotte, North Carolina. It's a 40,000 pound load of cleaning compounds, 295 loaded miles, booked that at $1,100. Got him $373 a loaded mile on that one. So fantastic money coming in, fantastic money, over $3 in both cases, almost $4 coming back out. Then out of Charlotte, North Carolina, coming out to Clarksville, Tennessee. It's a light load, 2,580 pounds of HVAC units, 466 loaded miles, booked at $980, got him 210 a loaded mile. 7 days on the road, Michael ran Friday to Friday, grossed $6,230 in gross, ran 1,977 loaded miles, and that got him 315 a loaded mile average. That is absolutely fantastic. And he did have a lot of deadhead, 395 deadhead miles, which dropped him to 263 with deadhead included, which I got to say, still an excellent rate, excellent high average per mile, whether loaded or not, with deadhead included or not. Excellent freight. Excellent job for dispatch and, of course, Michael. Moving on to, let's take a look. We got Enrique in his reefer coming out of Galesburg, Illinois, going to Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's a 42.5 load of General Mills, freight of all kinds, 40 to 60 degrees on a reefer, 331 loaded miles at $1,000, got him 302 a loaded mile. Then Avon, Indiana, coming out to Abington, Virginia. It's a 6,000 pound load of bakery products. So temperature was at -10 to about 0. 421 loaded miles, booked at $1,500, got him 356 a loaded mile. Then Greenville, Indiana, or Tennessee, to Roanoke, Texas, a 43,000 pound load of canned beans. It was a dry load. The Reefer stayed off on this one. 996 loaded miles, booked at $2,200, got him 221 a loaded mile there. And it finished off with Waymar, Texas, going to Union City, Georgia, with a 25,000 pound light load of pork products. It was a load of sausage, 33 to 39 degrees on a reefer, 865 loaded miles, booked at $2,079. That got him 240 a loaded mile. So absolutely fantastic week. Enrique running 7 days on the road, Sunday to Sunday, grossed 67.79 on his gross, ran 2,613 loaded miles, and that got him 259 a loaded mile. And then he did have 465 deadhead miles, which dropped him to 220 with all total miles with deadhead included, which again, excellent rates one way or another. Enrique, way to go, sir. And the guys will get you out of Georgia in no time. Next, we got Dwayne pulling a reefer coming out of Mesquite, New Mexico, going to Glen Allen, Virginia. Now it's a 43,000 pound load of onions. Temperature is set at 50 degrees on a reefer. 1,938 loaded miles. A long run at 5,000 bucks even. Excellent job. 258 loaded mile. Then Mount Crawford, Virginia, coming out to Springfield, Ohio. It's a 42,000 pound load of product and a food product. Temperature is set at 33 to 39. Unfortunately, the load was rejected by the receiver and it was sent back to the shipper. So we'll see on the next load what's going on there. So here's the thing. It was 414 loaded miles at $725 booked, which is $1.75. Isn't that great that it was basically canceled, because out of Springfield, Ohio, took a load back to Mount Crawford. That's on the way back for the rejection. We took some money on that, even more than we took in. 42,000 pound load, same thing, 33, 39, 414 miles, same exact thing, except this time, $1,000, which got him 242 a loaded mile. Certainly helps the averages. Then Graham, North Carolina, going to Coleman, Alabama with a 39.5 load of food ingredients. Again, this time it was a dry load. The reefer stayed off on that one. 525 loaded miles booked at 850, got him $1.62 on that one. Now you might say low freight, low rates. Here's the thing. Ended up grossing $7,575 in gross in 7 days. Over $1,000 a day. Ran 3,291 loaded miles. Ended up getting 230 a loaded mile in today's market, and got him down to 215 with deadhead included, as he did have 237 deadhead miles. So excellent job, Dwayne. It all worked out for the best. This is awesome. Glad to hear. And the guys were able to generate a little bit of extra money on the way back for the trouble. So way to go, sir. Moving on to, let's take a look. Reggie. Reginald is pulling a dry van coming out of Dubuque, Iowa. Going to Tobiana, Pennsylvania. It's a 41.5 load of pet food. 887 loaded miles booked at 1850. Got him 209 a loaded mile. Then Brainsville, Pennsylvania to Granville, West Virginia. It's a 43,000 pound load of food product. Looks like 290 loaded miles. Booked out at 813 bucks. Got him 280 a loaded mile. Very respectful. Then Parsons, West Virginia. Tough market. Went to West Columbia, South Carolina. Light load, 6,900 pounds of charcoal. 470 loaded miles booked at 1,200 bucks. Guys, way to go. It's a tough market. 255 a loaded mile coming out of West Virginia. Then Sumter, South Carolina, going to Des Moines, Iowa. Light load, 31,000 pounds of mechanical parts. 1,147 loaded miles. So a good number of miles at 2,100 bucks. Got him $1.83 a loaded mile. Then Newton, Iowa to Plainville, looks like Michigan. So it's a 43,000 pound load of food products, 443 loaded miles at 800 bucks. Got him $1.81 on that one. It all adds up Friday to Friday. 7 days on the road, gross 76, 73 in gross. Ran 3,237 loaded miles. Got him 209 a loaded mile. He did have 211 deadhead miles, which dropped him down to $1.96. Still an excellent run. Lots of light freight. Not a lot of deadhead, if you will, and honestly, a lot of fuel saved. So the good gross was there, especially for a dry van. It's just 1 week of working. Ended up in Michigan. He'll definitely pull through next week, doing really well. An excellent job there, Reggie. And moving on to Ronald, pulling a reefer out of Williamston, New York, going to Los Lunas, New Mexico. That's a long run. 33,000 pound load of FAK. It was a dry load on his reefer. The reefer stayed off the entire time, saved him a bunch of hours on a reefer, a bunch of fuel on a reefer, and 33,000 pounds is not the heaviest. 1,862 loaded miles at 3,200 bucks. Got him $1.72 on that one. Then Lubbock, Texas to Louisville, Kentucky with a 44,000 pound load. Cheese. This one was a -10. It was a pre-cool trailer. 1,103 loaded miles at 2,950. Got him 267 a loaded mile. They finished off real strong out of Walton, Kentucky, going to Brighton, Michigan with a 30,000 pound load of frozen food at -10 on a reefer. 289 loaded miles at $1,000 get you 346 a loaded mile. Absolutely fantastic. 7 days on the road, over $1,000 a day, grossing $7,150 in gross. Ran 3,254 loaded miles. That's 220 a loaded mile, and $1.94 with deadhead included, where he sat at 425 deadhead miles. An excellent job for Reggie. Everyone included. Well done, dispatch. Well done, drivers. Welcome back, and thanks for sticking around to the end. Guys, as you can see, the markets will continue marketing, and our dispatchers will continue dispatching. We got guys making over $8,000 in 6 days, and others making over $1,000 a day. Ultimately, for today's market, that's fantastic money. And although there certainly have been more deadhead miles than is traditionally seen in our videos, At the end of the day, it's a whole lot better to run empty in the right direction than to be loaded with a whole bunch of cheap freight. Guys, if you're struggling in today's market, if you're a carrier under your own MC authority, if you're a leased on owner operator operating under someone else's MC authority, and if you're ultimately not making this kind of money, get in touch with us by calling or texting us at 801-448-6363 or get on our website at aftdispatch.com and fill out the right box either for carriers or leased on owner operators. And until next week, guys, stay healthy, be wealthy. Take care.